If you have ever been outside of your home, you might know some ghost stories of America, compiled by Dan Asafar and Edric Thay. Or you could just go out and find AC Moore Arts and Crafts. We'll have to tell you how that is. But first, we're going to dive into Mississippi, the McCraven house. And I'm going to get a drink from Jack. In the box, that is. Here we go. Mississippi, McCraven house. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because in Vicksburg, one house is haunted by a Civil War spirit who reflects the turbulent history of the city. Founded in 1811 along the mighty Mississippi River, Vicksburg grew rapidly as a center for commerce, agriculture, and river traffic. In 1831, with the completion of the Vicksburg-Clinton Railroad line, the city had become the western link of the only east-west railroad between Memphis and New Orleans. Looking down the Mississippi from its perch high on the bluffs, the city gained a reputation during the Civil War as a Gibraltar of the Confederacy, the key to the South's defense of the river. As long as the Mississippi remained under Southern control, the South could remain whole. The North recognized this fact and launched a campaign to wrest control of the river from the South. By 1863, Vicksburg was one of the great Mississippi river port cities left under Confederate control. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Nazi had already fallen. The Northern campaign for Vicksburg began in earnest in the spring. The Union General Ulysses S. Grant attacked the fortress city, but was repelled. He realized that it could not be taken directly. Instead, he would have to suffocate the city. He established a line of works around Vicksburg, successfully severing the city from supplies and outside communications. For the next 47 days, Grant placed the city under a constant barrage of cannon fire. Soldier and citizen alike suffered during the siege, and many began carving caves out of the hillside to escape the artillery fire. With supplies dwindling, Vicksburg's residents grew desperate for food. Surrender suddenly became a viable option. On July 4th, 1863, Vicksburg fell. The Union had now in its grasp the last remaining Southern stronghold along the Mississippi. With the defeat, the Confederacy was decisively split in two. Vicksburg chose to remember its defeat by refusing to celebrate the 4th of July for 81 years. Grant's victory, combined with Meade's bloody stand at Gettysburg, turned the tide of the Civil War. Union troops occupied Vicksburg, and they made their headquarters in the McCraven house. Colonel Wilson was left in command to ease the occupation of the city, embittered by the horrors of the siege and destruction. He turned to Captain McPherson, a former resident. Nightly, McPherson would make rounds around town, listening to the complaints of the people and roughly 30,000 paroled Confederate soldiers. One fateful evening, McPherson failed to return from his tour. Ill will towards the Union in Vicksburg ran strong, and memories of death and suffering did not fade quickly. Wilson realized as much when, sitting in McCraven House, he looked up to see the bloodied and mutilated apparition of his missing captain soaking wet. He told his commander that he had been murdered by Confederate sympathizers and thrown into the river. Ever since his disappearance, residents of McCraven House, from Colonel Wilson to its current occupant, Leland French, had been treated to the sight of the murdered captain wandering the halls in silent testament to the house's particularly tortured history. But in 1797, mcraven House served as a field hospital during the siege of Vicksburg, and was even witness to a battle in its backyard. It's not surprising that a multitude of lost spirits continues to wander the grounds, giving mcraven House its reputation as the most haunted home in the Mississippi. No one knows exactly how many spirits are still around, but it is believed that at least 5 of the home's owners died in or around the house. Moreover, many of those who died while it served as a field hospital are buried in its grounds. The ghosts are friendly, but they hearken back to darker times when the souls of the United States was cleaved in two, and brother fought against brother. Even after the Civil War ended, its legacy left an indelible mark on Vicksburg through the bankruptcy and the internal strife of the Reconstruction governments. Today's Vicksburg is a community of 30,000 whose role in the war is memorialized by both a national park and the ghosts of mcraven's house. That was a short one, but that's kind of an interesting one about how that happened and what's going on there. Maybe if you guys have seen the mcraven House in Mississippi, let me know down in the comments down below. Let me know kind of what your guys' thoughts, beliefs, some of the things that you guys think about that house. And you guys have a wonderfully spooky and blessed day.